What if I told you that one of the most vital minerals your body relies on every single day, the mineral that keeps your heartbeat steady, helps your muscles unwind, calms your nervous system, balances blood sugar, and fuels energy production inside every cell, is also one that millions of people are quietly lacking? It's not rare. It's not costly. You don't need some exotic, hard-to-find supplement to get it. The issue is far simpler: the nutrient-dense foods that naturally supply this mineral. The seeds, grains, legumes, and heirloom crops our grandparents ate without a second thought have slowly vanished from everyday modern meals. Today, we have access to more food than any generation before us: more snacks, more beverages, more prepackaged meals, and endless options lining every grocery aisle. Yet countless people struggle with persistent fatigue, constant tension, restlessness, muscle cramps, poor sleep, and they can't figure out why their bodies feel like they're perpetually running on low power. Severe depletion of this mineral is known in modern medicine as hypomagnesemia. But our ancestors had a far more straightforward name for magnesium-rich foods: dinner. Long before white flour, refined sugar, and ultra-processed snacks dominated diets, humans ate the nutrient-rich portions of plants: the seeds, outer skins, leafy greens, and beans. They preserve the parts the modern food system throws away, and this may well be one of the biggest nutritional mistakes of our era. Magnesium takes part in over 300 enzymatic reactions within the human body. Your system uses it to generate energy, build proteins, regulate muscle contraction, stabilize nerve signals, support insulin function, maintain bone health, and sustain a regular heart rhythm. When magnesium levels drop, your body doesn't always send out urgent warning signals. Often the signs are subtle: a random eyelid twitch, calf cramps overnight, shallow, unrefreshing sleep, that strange feeling of being simultaneously wired and exhausted, an almost overwhelming craving for chocolate, unexplained irritability that comes out of nowhere. Here's the detail most people overlook: simply checking a nutrition chart to see which foods contain magnesium isn't enough. You need to ask deeper questions. How much of this food would you actually consume regularly? How much magnesium can your body effectively absorb? Is the food clean? Has it been prepared in a way that unlocks its minerals for your body to use? Are you eating it as part of a balanced whole food meal, or alongside a heavily processed diet that drains nutrients faster than it provides them? That's why today, I'm sharing 20 plant-based foods naturally packed with magnesium. This isn't just a list of numbers pulled straight from nutrition databases. We'll cover their history, the ancient traditional knowledge surrounding them, the reasons our ancestors valued these crops, and easy, practical ways to bring them back into your daily routine. Stay tuned. Number 7 is a leafy green ancient soldiers relied on to maintain strength centuries before scientists identified electrolytes. Number 19 is a plant most gardeners yank out and toss as a weed, even though it ranks among the most underappreciated mineral-dense greens on the planet. And number 20 is a crop so closely tied to food independence and survival that colonial powers once attempted to erase it entirely from history. This is not medical advice. Food is no miracle cure, and no single plant can replace professional medical care when you face serious health concerns. But nutrition forms the foundation of human health. When that foundation grows weak, every bodily system begins to struggle. So let's begin. Number 1, pumpkin seeds. Think of them as a portable mineral pharmacy you can hold in your palm. If any plant food deserves far more recognition, it's pumpkin seeds. A small handful delivers roughly 150 milligrams of magnesium, an impressive amount for something most people overlook entirely. Every autumn, families carve pumpkins, scoop out the seeds, and discard one of the most mineral-rich components of the plant. They keep the decorative rind and throw away the nutrition. Older food cultures never made this mistake. They dried the seeds, roasted them, and stored them through cold winter months. They didn't do this after reading scientific studies about magnesium. They learned through experience. The most nourishing foods often come in the smallest packages. Magnesium's role here is critical. It allows muscles to relax after contracting, prevents nerves from becoming overstimulated, supports cellular energy production, and aids glucose metabolism. This explains why low magnesium levels are frequently linked to insulin resistance and blood sugar imbalances. The practical takeaway is simple. A small serving of raw or lightly roasted pumpkin seeds can drastically boost the mineral content of any meal. Toss them into oatmeal, sprinkle them over soups and salads, or eat them plain. Just avoid versions coated in cheap oil, excessive salt, and artificial flavorings. Those processed variations lead you straight back to the food system responsible for widespread nutrient deficiencies. Treat pumpkin seeds like the compact mineral reserve your ancestors would never waste. Number 2, chia seeds, the ancient endurance fuel. Long before chia became a trendy addition to smoothie bowls, indigenous communities relied on these seeds as travel food. Lightweight, sustainable, and capable of sustaining energy through harsh conditions. The Tarahumara people of northern Mexico are famous for extraordinary long-distance running across rugged canyon terrain, and chia was one of their staple endurance foods. These tiny, nearly weightless seeds are densely packed with nutrients. 1 ounce of chia holds upwards of 100 milligrams of magnesium, alongside fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, and plant protein. What makes chia truly unique is its reaction to liquid. It forms a gel. This gel slows digestion, encourages satiety, and enables steady nutrient absorption. This matters greatly because magnesium is essential for energy metabolism. Your body requires it to produce ATP, the primary energy molecule for every cell. 2 tablespoons of chia mixed into water, yogurt, oats, or smoothies is one of the simplest healthy habits you can build. No cooking, no complicated recipes, just a tiny daily ritual connecting you to a food that once helped communities traverse mountain ranges. After European conquest, countless indigenous staple crops were suppressed or replaced. Foods that sustained entire civilizations were dismissed as primitive solely because they belonged to conquered peoples. Often, we didn't lose nutrient-dense foods because they failed us, we lost them because history pushed them aside. Chia carries ancient endurance wisdom that survived long enough to return to modern kitchens. Before we continue, if you're gaining value from this video, take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss future uploads. Every week, we dive deep into forgotten foods, traditional wisdom, and ancestral nutrition overlooked by modern society. It costs nothing, and it supports this channel so we can keep creating content. Now let's move forward, because the remaining 18 plants on this list hold even more fascinating stories. Number 3. Almonds, the traveler's nourishment. Almond trees appear repeatedly throughout ancient texts, Mediterranean trade routes, Persian gardens, and the travel provisions of pilgrims and wanderers. People valued almonds not only for their flavor, but also for their shelf stability. Before refrigeration and pre-made protein bars, any food that could travel for weeks while supplying energy, minerals, healthy fats, and protein was incredibly precious. 1 ounce of almonds contains approximately 75 to 80 milligrams of magnesium, paired with vitamin E, manganese, fiber, and monounsaturated fats. Combined, these nutrients make almonds a stabilizing snack, especially when swapped in for refined processed treats. Magnesium supports balanced insulin signaling, improves how your body processes glucose, and calms an overactive nervous system. A word of caution: modern wellness culture often turns beneficial foods into overconsumed trends. Almond flour, almond milk, endless almond-based products. Too much of any single food creates imbalance. Traditional wisdom always prioritized variety. Eat a small handful, not endless quantities. Whenever possible, choose raw or dry roasted almonds. Soaking them overnight can improve digestibility and reduce anti-nutrients that block mineral absorption. See almonds as compact ancient nourishment, crafted to keep bodies steady on long journeys. Number 4. Cashews, the calming nut. Cashews have a gentle sweetness, creamy texture, and satisfying richness that doesn't leave you feeling heavy. This is part of what makes them one of the most approachable magnesium-rich foods for most people. An ounce of cashews provides roughly 70 to 80 milligrams of magnesium. Cashew trees originated in Brazil, and native communities utilize far more than just the nut. The fruit, bark, and other plant parts all had a place in local healing practices. When a culture utilizes nearly every part of a plant, it reflects generations of observation, confirming its value. Magnesium plays a key role in regulating calcium movement inside nerve cells. When your nervous system stays overstimulated, you feel tense, reactive, and unable to unwind. Magnesium doesn't act like a pharmaceutical sedative, but it creates the biological conditions needed for natural relaxation. A small handful of cashews in the afternoon can be a far better choice than another cup of coffee. Caffeine pushes your body into overdrive. Magnesium supports balanced bodily function. Use cashews mindfully. Blend them into creamy sauces, add them to stir-fries, or slowly enjoy a small handful. Think of cashews as a gentle mineral source, quietly supporting nervous system health from within. Number 5. Flaxseed, the seed that endured through civilizations. Flax is among humanity's oldest cultivated crops. Ancient Egyptians grew it, Greek physicians documented its benefits, and European farmers raised it for millennia. For centuries, flax supplied both fabric for clothing and nourishment, serving as food and natural medicine. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed delivers around 35 to 40 milligrams of magnesium, plus fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, and lignans, plant compounds studied for their effects on inflammation and hormone balance. One critical detail: flax must be ground. Whole flax seeds often pass through your digestive tract intact, locking all their nutrition inside so your body cannot access it. The exact same food can either nourish you or pass through unused, all depending on preparation. That is one core lesson of ancestral eating. Traditional food culture wasn't just about picking quality ingredients. Techniques like grinding, soaking, fermenting, and cooking were not just culinary flair, they were nutritional intelligence. Stir ground flaxseed into oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, or soups. Keep it refrigerated after grinding, as its natural oils oxidize quickly. View flaxseed as ancient survival condensed into a spoonful, a reminder that small daily habits carry immense biological impact. Number 6. Spinach, the leafy green that deserves renewed respect. Spinach feels familiar, and that familiarity causes us to overlook its power. Its simple packaging at grocery stores hides a dramatic history. Persian communities cherish spinach, Arab traders spread it across continents, and European kitchens embraced it. For hundreds of years, spinach was treated as serious nourishment, not just a decorative garnish. A half cup of cooked spinach holds roughly 75 to 80 milligrams of magnesium. Cooking matters here. A huge pile of raw spinach wilts down into a concentrated serving of nutrients, and heat lowers oxalic acid, a compound that binds minerals and limits absorption. Just because a plant contains magnesium does not guarantee your body can absorb it. Preparation changes everything. Lightly cook spinach, ideally paired with healthy fats to boost nutrient uptake rather than eating endless raw salads. Add it to soups, sauté it with olive oil and garlic, or fold it into eggs. Make spinach a core part of your meal, not just a side pile of raw leaves. Spinach is a celebrated green that needs to be prepared mindfully and respected once more as nourishment. Number 7. Swiss chard, the warrior's green. Swiss chard looks almost painterly, with deep green foliage and vivid stems ranging from red, yellow, and orange to white. It appears striking enough to feel ornamental, yet it's overlooked in countless modern kitchens. Cooked Swiss chard offers magnesium levels comparable to spinach, around 70 to 80 milligrams per half cup. It carries an earthy, robust, mineral-forward flavor. This is no delicate green. It tastes of soil, sunlight, rain, and labor. Mediterranean communities valued chard for centuries. Laborers, farmers, soldiers, and families relied on it to build strength from simple ingredients. They did not speak of magnesium or electrolytes, but they observed clearly. People who regularly ate these greens maintained greater stamina. Like spinach, chard contains oxalates, so cooking is essential to unlock its full benefits. Heat softens the leaves, reduces anti-nutrient compounds, and transforms a tough green into a deeply satisfying dish. Sauté it with garlic, add it to bean soups, or cook the stems with onions and olive oil. Remember, the stems require slightly longer cooking than the leaves. Swiss chard faded from modern tables because it asks for basic preparation. You cannot simply open a bag and serve it raw. You have to cook it and engage with it, and that's exactly why we need it back. Swiss chard is the warrior's green, a plant that demands heat before it shares its strength. Number 8. Black beans, the crop that built civilizations. Some foods simply fill your stomach, and others help sustain entire societies. Black beans fall into the second category. Across Mesoamerica, beans form part of an ingenious agricultural system still admired today. The Three Sisters: corn, beans, and squash, grown in symbiosis. Corn gave beans stalks to climb. Beans fixed nitrogen to feed the soil. Squash spread wide to retain moisture and block weeds. This was more than farming. It was intentional ecology. A half cup of cooked black beans contains roughly 50 to 60 milligrams of magnesium, alongside fiber, plant protein, potassium, iron, and slow-digesting carbohydrates. But black beans' greatest strength lies in how they support gut health. Their fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids that protect the intestinal lining and improve overall mineral absorption. Black beans don't merely supply magnesium. They help create an internal environment where your body can utilize minerals more effectively. Soaking, rinsing, and thorough cooking reduce hard-to-digest compounds. Traditional cultures soaked beans out of wisdom, not habit. Enjoy them in soups, stews, and grain bowls, simply seasoned with garlic, onion, herbs, and quality salt. Black beans stand as quiet foundational food sovereignty, nourishing people, enriching soil, and supporting long-term survival all at once. Number 9. Edamame, the green soybean linked to longevity. Japanese food wisdom often hides in simple, uncomplicated dishes. Minimal preparation, seasonal produce, modest portions, and deep respect for balance and consistency. Edamame fits perfectly within this tradition. Young green soybeans, steamed lightly in their pods and seasoned with a touch of salt, have been enjoyed for generations. A half cup of edamame delivers approximately 45 to 50 milligrams of magnesium, plus complete plant protein, folate, vitamin K, and fiber. The term complete protein matters greatly. Most plant foods lack sufficient levels of one or more essential amino acids, but soybeans contain all 9, making them invaluable for plant-focused diets. Unlike countless heavily processed soy products, edamame remains close to its natural form. You see the whole pod, steam it, shell it, and eat slowly. That slowness is meaningful. Modern food is engineered for mindless consumption, but edamame slows you down, letting your body register nourishment bite by bite. Steam frozen edamame for a few minutes, season with sea salt, and enjoy it as an appetizer or light snack. Edamame holds longevity wisdom inside a green pod, proof that powerful nourishment doesn't need complexity. Number 10. Lima beans, the unfairly misunderstood treasure. Lima beans might be the most wrongly judged food in modern diets. For many people, childhood memories involve overcooked, mushy, bland lima beans served without proper seasoning. Because of that negative experience, generations avoided this mineral-rich staple respected by ancient civilizations. A half cup of lima beans provides roughly 40 milligrams of magnesium, plus potassium, fiber, iron, and steady-release carbohydrates. They were cultivated across the Americas for thousands of years. Inca and Andean communities survived harsh mountain climates thanks to carefully developed staple crops, and beans were central to that survival system. The flaw was never the lima bean itself. It was poor cooking methods. Properly prepared lima beans are creamy, satisfying, and deeply nourishing. Soak them, cook until tender, not mushy, and season generously with garlic, onion, herbs, olive oil, and good salt. Give them the same care you would offer trendy vegetables, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Lima beans are an underrated mineral storehouse, abandoned not for any fault of their own, but because we forgot how to cook them well. We've reached the halfway mark. If this video is shifting how you view everyday food, take a moment to hit subscribe and activate notifications. We explore ancestral crops, longevity strategies, and forgotten nutritional knowledge every single week. If you've been watching without subscribing, now is the perfect time. It takes a second, costs nothing, and supports this channel so we can keep creating content. 10 more plants await, including a wild weed growing in many gardens, a food once banned by an empire, and several picks that may completely change your grocery shopping choices. Number 11. Quinoa, the seed of recovery and rebuilding. The Inca named quinoa the mother of all grains, even though technically it is a seed, not a grain. This distinction matters, as quinoa's nutrition profile sets it apart from most cereal crops. A half cup of cooked quinoa contains roughly 55 to 60 milligrams of magnesium, plus all 9 essential amino acids, fiber, manganese, phosphorus, and iron. This made quinoa indispensable in high-altitude regions where communities needed crops resilient enough to withstand cold temperatures and poor soil. Quinoa was food for strength, recovery, and bodily repair. Modern science explains why. Magnesium supports protein synthesis, and quinoa supplies both magnesium and complete plant protein. This pairing makes it ideal for anyone building or maintaining muscle, recovering from chronic stress, or swapping refined starches for nutrient-dense alternatives. Always rinse quinoa thoroughly before cooking to remove naturally occurring bitter saponins. Cook it gently and use it in place of rice or oats. Long before quinoa became popular in restaurants, it was sacred mountain nourishment. Quinoa is the rebuilding seed carried through centuries by communities who understood that survival depends on crops hardy enough to grow where easier foods cannot thrive. Number 12. Avocado, the fruit of vitality. Avocado is often treated like a recent wellness trend, yet its history stretches back thousands of years. Long before avocado toast rose to popularity, Mesoamerican cultures viewed avocados as food that supported strength, vitality, and wellness. One whole avocado contains roughly 50 to 60 milligrams of magnesium, and that is only the start. It also delivers potassium, fiber, and monounsaturated fats. Simply put, avocados improve how your body uses other foods. The pairing of magnesium and potassium is especially valuable. Magnesium encourages blood vessels to relax, while potassium counteracts sodium's impact on blood pressure. Together, they support cardiovascular health in a simple, profound way. For decades, outdated nutrition advice encouraged people to fear dietary fat, and avocados suffered unfairly under that misconception. Your body requires healthy fats to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, build hormones, and form cell membranes. The issue was never whole food fats. It was industrial food systems replacing natural ingredients with refined alternatives. Enjoy avocados seasoned with salt and lime. Add them to salads, or pair them with beans, eggs, leafy greens, and potatoes. They boost satiety, naturally reducing cravings for processed snacks. The avocado is the vitality fruit that survived decades of misleading nutrition guidance, enduring because human bodies instinctively recognize its nourishment. Number 13. Potatoes with skin, the food we blame for our own poor choices. The potato has gotten an unfair reputation, and it is not the potato's fault. We peel it, deep fry it, drown it in refined oil, turn it into chips, strip away its outer skin, then label the potato as unhealthy. But a whole potato, cooked with its skin intact, is an entirely different food. A medium potato with skin holds approximately 40 to 50 milligrams of magnesium, alongside potassium, vitamin C, vitamin B6, fiber, and resistant starch, especially noticeable after cooking and cooling. The skin is vital. Much of the fiber and mineral content resides there. When you peel a potato, you remove far more than texture. You discard valuable nutrition. Andean farmers cultivated hundreds of unique potato varieties out of necessity. They selected crops capable of storage, resilience, and nourishment in harsh mountain environments. For them, potatoes were not junk food, they were essential agricultural technology. Bake potatoes whole or roast or boil them unpeeled. Chill cooked potatoes and add them to salads to boost resistant starch, which feeds healthy gut bacteria. Potatoes did not become harmful growing underground. They became problematic once industrial processing turned them into delivery vehicles for cheap oil and excess salt. The whole potato is an unfairly maligned ancestral food, waiting for you to stop peeling away its nutritional benefits. Number 14. Green peas, the quiet garden remedy. Green peas rarely grab attention. Mild, sweet, and familiar, they sit beside meals like subtle background music. But humble, everyday foods are often what sustain families through hardship. A half cup of green peas contains roughly 30 milligrams of magnesium. The number may not sound impressive, yet peas have a key advantage. Most people can eat them consistently and easily. Nutrition relies not only on nutrient density, but also on regular consumption. Within traditional European food culture, dried peas were critical winter survival food. They could be preserved and turned into hearty soups when fresh vegetables vanished. Pea soup was not just food for poverty, it was nutritional insurance. Grand feasts featured elaborate, glamorous dishes, but simple, humble foods kept communities sustained between celebrations. Keep frozen peas on hand to toss into rice, soups, stews, pasta, and grain bowls. They cook quickly, adding natural sweetness and nutrients with minimal effort. Green peas are the garden's quiet medicine, never flashy, never trendy, yet always ready to offer more nourishment than most people realize. Number 15. Bananas, nature's first aid fruit. There is a clear reason bananas became one of the most widely consumed fruits worldwide. They are portable, naturally packaged, sweet, and gentle on digestion. Their convenience should not make us overlook their benefits. A medium banana contains roughly 30 to 35 milligrams of magnesium, paired with potassium, vitamin B6, fiber, and mild natural energy. This combination of magnesium and potassium supports muscle and nerve function. Many people only consider potassium when muscle cramps strike, yet magnesium works alongside it. Your body does not depend on isolated minerals. It relies on balanced interactions between nutrients. Bananas are not ideal for unlimited consumption for everyone, especially those managing blood sugar levels, but treating a whole banana identically to refined candy is a modern misunderstanding. A banana is not comparable to processed sugar. Eat one before physical activity, mix it into oatmeal, or pair it with nuts and seeds to curb cravings for manufactured sweets. The banana is the original portable first aid fruit, quickly recognized by your body when it needs gentle energy and mineral support. Number 16. Papaya, the tropical digestive healer. Traditional healing systems across multiple regions independently acknowledge papaya's value. Central America, East Africa, and Southeast Asia. Tropical communities saw far more than sweet fruit in papaya. They saw functional nourishment. A small papaya delivers around 30 milligrams of magnesium, yet its most famous compound is papain, a protein-digesting enzyme. This explains why papaya has long been linked to improved digestion. It does not only feed your body, it helps your gut process other foods. This matters because magnesium absorption partially depends on digestive wellness. An inflamed or sluggish gut can prevent nutrients listed on paper from actually reaching your cells. Eat papaya raw because heat destroys its valuable enzymes. Add a squeeze of lime, enjoy it first thing in the morning, or blend it into smoothies. Papaya is the tropical healer, reminding your digestive tract how to properly receive nourishment. Number 17. Blackberries, the hedgerow pharmacy. Long before pharmacies existed on every street corner, wild hedgerows supplied natural medicine. Along field edges and forest boundaries, thorny thickets marked land borders, stabilized soil, sheltered wildlife, and produced edible food. Among the most treasured wild hedgerow crops were blackberries. 1 cup of blackberries contains roughly 25 to 30 milligrams of magnesium. Compared to seeds and beans, this amount is modest, but blackberries offer something extra: deep purple anthocyanin antioxidants, researched for supporting inflammation balance, cardiovascular health, and cognitive function. Here is the critical layer many miss. Ongoing inflammation increases your body's demand for magnesium. A food that supplies magnesium while lowering oxidative stress offers greater value than its mineral count alone suggests. If you have outdoor space, grow blackberry bushes along fencing. If you safely know how to forage wild varieties, you can harvest them naturally. When purchasing, choose fresh or frozen blackberries and avoid drowning them in added sugar. Blackberries are the hedgerow pharmacy, sweet nourishment growing where wild landscapes meet cultivated farmland. Number 18. Acorn squash, the winter storage staple. Winter squash was a vital preservation crop for indigenous communities across North America. After harvest, once fresh greens disappeared and cold weather arrived, stored squash remained available, a promise of nourishment through harsh months. 1 cooked cup of acorn squash provides roughly 60 milligrams of magnesium, alongside potassium, vitamin C, beta-carotene, fiber, and slow-release carbohydrates. It feels warming, grounding, and deeply satisfying. Within the Three Sisters growing system, squash protected farm soil. Its broad leaves shaded the ground, locking in moisture and suppressing unwanted weeds, while its fruit stored energy for the months ahead. True traditional agriculture was never about dominating land. It built balanced ecological relationships. Slice acorn squash in half, remove the seeds, brush it with olive oil, season with salt and herbs, then roast until tender. You can eat it directly from the rind. Modern supply chains train us to eat identical produce year-round, but winter squash teaches seasonal awareness. There is a time to harvest, a time to store, and a time to consume the food the earth prepared months earlier. Acorn squash is winter nourishment, a storage crop built to deliver minerals and comfort through cold seasons. Number 19. Purslane, the wild weed trying to heal you. This is our wild entry, the plant countless gardeners spot, pull out, and discard. Purslane grows low to the ground, with fleshy green leaves and reddish stems, popping up in garden beds, pavement cracks, and disturbed soil, spaces people write off as barren. Yet across the globe, from Mediterranean kitchens to Mexican markets and traditional Chinese medicine, purslane has long been valued as both food and medicine. Cooked purslane boasts impressive magnesium levels, comparable to many popular leafy greens. It also contains plant-based omega-3 ALA, something rare for leafy vegetables. Add antioxidants and potassium, alongside its bright lemony flavor, and this so-called weed becomes a nutritional surprise. How did we forget purslane? Industrial agriculture favors crops that can be tightly controlled, packaged, and mass-distributed. If a plant grows freely everywhere and cannot be monopolized into corporate supply chains, it gets labeled a weed, not because it lacks value, but because it lacks commercial profit potential. Many foods disappeared not because they were weak, but because they were too resilient and too free. Always positively identify purslane before consuming it. Once confirmed, toss raw leaves into salads, sauté them briefly, add them to soups, or cook them alongside eggs and vegetables. It may be called common, but common does not mean worthless. Often, common means abundant and generous. Purslane is the weed that has attempted to nourish you every time you grab a hoe to clear your garden. Number 20. Amaranth leaves, the banned plant that refused to disappear. We arrive at the crop with the most powerful history of all, amaranth. 1 cooked cup of amaranth leaves delivers roughly 70 milligrams of magnesium, plus calcium, iron, vitamin A, vitamin C, and other essential minerals. Its seeds are rich in protein and can be used similarly to grains. As a whole plant, amaranth ranks among the most complete ancestral foods on Earth. But its nutrition is only half its story. Within Aztec civilization, amaranth was far more than food. It was sacred, tied to cultural ceremonies, identity, strength, and survival. When Spanish colonizers arrived, they understood that destroying a community's staple food system was a way to weaken its culture. Amaranth farming was suppressed, and in some regions, banned under threat of punishment. Imagine a plant so culturally vital that an empire sought to erase it entirely. And still, it survived. It persisted in remote farm plots, preserved by people who refused to abandon their traditions. It grows as leafy greens across Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and even as an ornamental garden plant, admired for its beauty while many remain unaware of its history. That is the nature of amaranth. It does not vanish easily. Cook young amaranth leaves just like spinach or Swiss chard. Sauté them with garlic and oil, or add them to soups and stews. The seeds can be simmered into porridge. Grow it yourself if your climate allows. Amaranth reminds us food is never simply fuel. Food holds memory, power, and independence. Communities able to grow nutrient-dense crops on their own land are far harder to control than populations fully reliant on packaged goods shipped from distant supply chains. Amaranth is the banned nourishment that refused to die, outlasting the empire that sought to erase it. 20 plants, 20 pathways back to forgotten mineral wisdom. Pumpkin seeds, chia, almonds, cashews, flaxseed, spinach, Swiss chard, black beans, edamame, lima beans, quinoa, avocado, potatoes with skin, green peas, bananas, papaya, blackberries, acorn squash, purslane, and amaranth. Some are ancient cultivated crops, some are everyday grocery staples, some are wild weeds growing beneath your feet, some were sacred, some were overlooked, and some were nearly erased entirely. Yet all share the same core truth. Magnesium deficiency is not merely an individual health concern. It is a crisis born from a broken food system. It happens when communities step away from whole plant foods, seeds, outer skins, leafy greens, and legumes, and shift toward refined flour, sugar, processed oils, and convenient packaged meals. White sugar contains zero magnesium. Refined oils offer no magnesium. White flour holds barely any nutrients compared to the whole grain it originates from. Yet these ingredients now form the foundation of modern diets worldwide. We fill our stomachs while starving ourselves. We eat constantly, yet remain depleted. The solution is not panic. The solution is to return. Return to seeds. Return to leafy greens. Return to beans. Keep the potato skin intact. Learn to recognize the wild weeds your grandparents once harvested. Revive the crops that sustained civilizations long before processed food convinced us convenience equals nourishment. Start small. Swap chips for a handful of pumpkin seeds. Stir ground flaxseed into your morning meal. Simmer black beans on the stovetop. Cook spinach with garlic. Bake a potato without peeling it. Add ripe avocado to your plate. Keep frozen blackberries on hand. Cook amaranth greens the same way families once prepared spinach. This journey is not about perfection. It is not about letting food trigger anxiety. It is not about chasing one single miracle plant. It is remembering that the human body evolved to gather minerals consistently from whole foods, prepared thoughtfully, and respected as a fundamental part of life. When you make these changes, transformation follows. It may not happen instantly like magic, but the shift runs deep. Your nervous system feels less strained, muscles relax more easily, sustainable energy returns, uncontrolled cravings soften. These ancient foods simply resume the work they have always done: nourish, restore, and reconnect you to natural nutrition. The next time you see pumpkin seeds, do not only see a snack, see a portable mineral pharmacy. The next time you cook beans, do not dismiss them as simple comfort food. Recognize them as the foundation of ancient societies. The next time you leave potato skins intact, treat it as an act of nutritional respect. The next time you spot wild greens sprouting in your garden, pause before pulling them out. And when someone claims healthy eating is overly complicated, remember this: the most powerful foods on earth are frequently simple, ancient, humble, and waiting exactly where we left them. In gardens, market stalls, farm fields, along path edges, and sometimes quietly growing beneath our feet. If this video offered you meaningful insight, a new perspective on your meals, a plant you intend to try, or simply a reminder of what genuine nourishment should feel like, take one final action before leaving. Hit subscribe and activate notification alerts. Every week, we explore ancestral foods, healing plants, and nutritional wisdom pushed aside by modern, busy lifestyles. Many people out there need this information and have not yet discovered it. When you subscribe and share this video, you help it reach them. Leave a comment below and tell me which plant surprised you most. Was it the purslane sprouting in your yard? The potato you always peel? The amaranth that survived an imperial ban? I read every single comment. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.